Congress is scrambling after President Trump threw the COVID relief deal into chaos. That bill is now on its way to the president's desk, but he's threatened not to sign it. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is calling his bluff and sending the bill anyway. A senior Republican aide says they're flying it to Palm Beach, where the president is spending Christmas. Now, one of the president's demands was bigger stimulus checks. He wants them to be $2,000 instead of $600. House Democrats tried to approve that larger payment today, but GOP lawmakers blocked it. Some top lawmakers from both sides are urging President Trump to sign the bill as is.
The best way out of this is for the president to sign the bill, and I still hope that's what he decides. It took us a long time to get to where we are. I think reopening that bill would be a mistake.
Surely, the President of the United States, whether he's in Mar-a-Lago or any place else, ought to empathize with the pain and suffering and apprehension and deep angst that the American people are feeling this Christmas Eve and sign this bill.
Well, as many as 14 million Americans are about to lose their unemployment benefits if the president and Congress can't come to terms. Let's bring in CNBC contributor and Politico's chief economic correspondent, Ben White. Ben, good to see you. Now, this bill is going to be on the president's desk soon, so he can sign it, he can veto it, and he can just let it sit there and expire. What happens now?
Well, Contessa, good to see you too. And that is an excellent question that no one on this earth knows the answer to, not even President Trump, I don't think. So, yes, it arrives at Mar-a-Lago. He can choose to sign it. He could just put it away and let it expire and have the next Congress try to deal with it. But as you said, that would mean the expiration of unemployment benefits. That would mean the end of eviction moratoriums. It would also mean a government shutdown next week, because remember, this is both government funding and COVID stimulus. I think a lot of people, both within the White House and in the Republican Party on Capitol Hill, as well as Democrats, hope that he calms down and simply signs the bill very quietly and doesn't say anything about it, and that he aired his grievances already in that Facebook video. Because that's the most obvious path forward, is to just sign it and get this done and get this aid out. All the other possibilities, and we can talk about them, are very challenging, and there's no obvious path to get any of them done. The one way to avoid a shutdown, get much needed aid out to the American people that both parties agreed to in overwhelmingly bipartisan fashion, is for Trump to simply take out the pen in Mar-a-Lago and sign it.
When you say there's not the will to get it done, what do you mean? Like there's not enough support to override the president on this?
Oh, well, there could be. Yeah. I mean, let's say that is one scenario. It's just uncertain. Obviously, Democrats could override in the House. They control the House. The Senate is the question, where Republicans are in control and traditionally don't love to block things that the president wants or to reject him in any significant way. This could be different because Republicans really want this signed and done with. And as we know, Trump is a lame duck president. He will be leaving office. His political power, while significant still, is not what it once was. So that is one plausible scenario in which he vetoes and both houses of Congress override. No guarantee that that will happen in the GOP Senate, but it is possible.
So, Ben, you had Congress dilly-dallying for months on this. They could have gotten this done. The president could have weighed in a long time ago. It's come to a head now on Christmas Eve. Nancy Pelosi says that she's going to roll call this. She's going to make Congress members stand up and say yes or no to this bill. What's that do for them to go to their constituents and have to deny it if that's the way they're going to vote? And secondly, here she is saying, OK, you want $2,000? I'll give you $2,000. Who in their right mind at this point is going to say no to that if they have to be on the record voting no?
No, most Republicans in the Senate are going to say no to it. I mean, Pelosi essentially has already done this. The effort today to get unanimous consent for $2,000 stimulus payments, which was blocked. And now on Monday, she will do it again, hopefully hoping to get a full roll call vote. The Democrats simply want to be fully on record and having voted in favor of this larger number for stimulus checks. They've always been for bigger direct payments, have been since the spring when they passed their next COVID stimulus bill. So that puts pressure on some Republicans. But for the most part, Republicans, particularly in the Senate, where such a bill out of the House would die, don't want that price tag to go up from $900 billion, don't believe that we should go from $600 stimulus checks to 1,200 or 2,000 or whatever the number is, that people don't need it necessarily, and they would rather not have a big of a bill. So it's not a huge problem for them to just say no to that.
A lot of people on Main Street, a lot of economists think this is a drop in the bucket for what this economy needs. The chances of getting another big stimulus pass increase greatly if the Democrats get control of the Senate. That could happen if you have a couple Democrats win the Senate races in Georgia. How does this whole conflict play into what's laying in wait in Georgia? How does this hang in the balance?
Yeah, it's really interesting and somewhat complicated politics in the Georgia special elections for the Senate, because plenty of Georgians, Republicans included, would like to see these larger checks. The Republican candidates there are not necessarily in favor of them, but it puts them in an awkward position, particularly now that Trump is on record saying he wants bigger stimulus checks. But the larger picture is, if Democrats win both of those races, Biden comes into office with both the House and the Senate in Democratic control, he will do another large stimulus, even if this goes through, another $1 trillion or $2 trillion. If he doesn't get that and Mitch McConnell is in charge of the Senate, he's not going to get that. So this will be the last train leaving the station, which is why it's even more important to the incoming Biden administration that this get done and help the economy so it doesn't tank as he's about to take office.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.